Hey everybody, thanks so much for joining us right here on The Right View tonight. We're joined by the UFC 12th ranked fighter in women's strawweight division, the karate hottie herself, Michelle Waterson-Gomez. Michelle, welcome to The Right View. We're so stoked to have you. You and I were just chatting before we got started here. And there's a mutual respect here because I'm not even going to try it with you. You and I will probably never fight, but you're going to give me some tips so that if ever I need them, I'm ready to go. Because people try to come at us, Michelle, do they not?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that it's just become way too comfortable for people to say things that they generally wouldn't say to you in their face because they're hiding behind the screen. And, it's okay, but in the world that I live in, you can't do that. I laugh about it with my husband all the time because, if you have an issue with somebody in my world, in the fight world, you hash it out in sparring. Somebody says something to you, you're like, all right, throw the gloves on, let's go. And then you usually hash it out. You become friends afterwards. And, the weak people get weeded out. They just don't come back to the gym. But in the corporate world, in your world, it's so easy for somebody to lash out, to say something, to have very strong words and very strong opinions, and not get any consequences for it.
That's true. It's so true. They hide behind a screen. They feel like they will never get their day. Wouldn't it be nice if all of these people had to stand up in front of us and say this stuff to our faces? Because we know they wouldn't. We know they would be silent and they would be terrified because it's all ridiculous and it's all nonsense. And I just kind of think sometimes I'm like, what kind of a loser do you have to be to have this much free time? I don't have free time to do the things that I need to get done, let alone scroll through and try and troll somebody who I've never met, who I will probably never meet. It's just really I feel sad for these people.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about you. First of all, what a badass. A UFC fighter. I actually have kind of gotten into UFC more than I anticipated because my husband is really into UFC and like mad respect. That is such a brutal sport. And I mean, you got to have like real, I'll say guts to get into that octagon and to spar with somebody, to take somebody on like that. You're going in and you're going to come out hurt, no matter if you win or lose. And I mean, it is kind of crazy. And you were born in the 80s, just like I was. So I'm just wondering, like, how do we feel about my chances at 40 years old? Michelle, is it too late for me to enter the UFC?
Is it something that you're really considering doing?
I like to try everything. I'm a sporty gal. I've done a lot of stuff, but like, I think it's very cool. What are you, 36?
I'm 37.
37.
Look, Holly's in her 40s, and she's still on the road to try to get the belt back, and I believe that she can do it. You're a triathlete, like
yes,
and so you know what it is to dig deep, to push against the current, to climb, to dig deep, and I think that's what it is to be a fighter, is to dig deep when you hit a wall, to keep going. And so I'm, if that's something that you want to do, if that's something on your bucket list, like, I'll be in your corner,
Okay.
Get it done, get the training done.
Noted here. We'll rewind this tape. Well, I got to hear, like, how did you start in this? Because obviously it's a fairly male dominated sport, but the women are coming in hot, and a lot of people are really interested in watching the women's fights, and you guys are getting, a lot of notoriety. And I'm just thinking back to when, you were a kid. I read that you started with karate at around 10 years old. You were even a model after high school, which love that for you. But how did you end up in the UFC? Like, did you hear about it and you said, this is a direction I want to go? Was it a natural fit? Was it something that you weren't sure about? How did that all work?
Well, I grew up, like you said, like I grew up doing karate. I have an older brother, and I kind of I wanted to impress him. I wanted to be like him. And, in the era that I grew up in, it was Ninja Turtles, Mortal Kombat,
yes,
Power Rangers. And I wanted to be like a cool superhero. That's kind of what I grew up watching. Best of the Best, all those Jean-Claude Van Damme movies. And so, I really liked gymnastics and things like that, but my parents couldn't afford to put me in gymnastics. We had 3 kids. We're, middle class, blue collar family, and so there was a community church martial arts school just down the street where all 3 of the kids could go, and it was affordable. And so my parents put us all in, and we absolutely fell in love with it. It became really basically like the foundation for our family events. We would compete monthly, and we travel around Colorado and do these karate tournaments, and we absolutely fell in love with it. My dad was in the military, so coming from a military background, getting into the martial arts, it kind of was an easy transition because of the discipline and the loyalty and just the things that they teach you in martial arts, that it is a way of life and not just a sport. And I knew, I was, like I said, I got into it when I was 10. And as a teenager, developing and trying to find myself, I think that I speak for all teenagers when I say that that's what it is. You're trying to find yourself. You're a little lost. And martial arts gave me a voice. And so I just knew from that day on that it was going to be in my life forever. I didn't know how, but I knew that that's what I wanted to do. And so growing up, I was really involved in high school, and I did martial arts, and I thought that my trajectory as an adult was going to be, graduate high school, go to college, get married, get the white picket fence, and, that whole thing. And it didn't pan out that way. It's weird how life is, And
it's weird how life works. I'll second that. That's for sure.
And I did. I went to college. I had no issue going to college, great GPA, but man, I felt lost. I felt out of place. I felt like I didn't have any drive or passion to what I was doing.
What did you study in college, by the way?
I was going to college. I was double majoring in theater and sports science. So I was going to school to be a physical therapist for athletes. And when I was just trying to figure it all out, I was like, you know what? I think I need a break. My grandma in Thailand was really sick, and so I told my mom I would go to Thailand with her to visit family, and I took a semester off of college. And when I went to Thailand, I was like, I'm in the motherland of Muay Thai.
Yeah.
Might as well train. And they spent 2 weeks kicking my butt. And I was tired, and I was sore, and I was hurt, and I absolutely loved it.
Wow.
So I went back home, and I dropped out of college, and I decided to become a professional fighter.
By the way, that's amazing. The fact that, you had the connection and you were like, in the space, in the motherland, so to speak, like you said, and it just sort of, catapulted you forward, and you said, well, this is it. I'm going to try and do it. But it's one thing to try and do it, because a lot of people, Michelle, try and do a lot of things. Then it's something completely different to be successful. And man, you have been very successful. Obviously, it was because of your start in karate that you ended up in the UFC and ended up where you are today. Now, I've talked on this show before to a host of ex-fighters, Sean Patrick Flannery from the Boondock Saints, Hall of Famers like Frank Mir. They told me to sign my kids up for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which is what my kids do now. They've been doing jiu-jitsu now for a little over a year, just about a year, I guess. But now I'm like, man, did we go the wrong way, Michelle? Should they be in karate instead?
I actually have a jiu-jitsu school out here in Albuquerque, and I love it. I love it for kids. I love it for everybody. I love it for families. I love it for ages, all across the board. And here's why. Jiu-jitsu is the martial art for the little guy. It's the martial art that teaches you, no matter what size you are, that you can win the fight, because it's not about brute strength. It's about strategy. It's about leverage. It's about understanding where your strengths are, no matter what body type you have. And so in karate, at least the karate that I had, you learn a lot of you learn how to you learn a lot of precision. There's a lot of discipline that you learn. But growing up competing, I competed point sparring. So point sparring is kind of like tag, which is great for your accuracy and learning how to control. But when you get into an actual altercation, it's physical. Like there's no way around it. And so for me, karate was a great foundation, as a great starting point. But it was the tip of the iceberg when it came to martial arts for me. And I love having that foundation. I think that what jujitsu does is it gets you comfortable with contact. And I try not to sugarcoat it, right? Because I have a daughter, and in the world that we live in today, like what am I the most afraid of? I'm afraid of her getting abducted. I'm afraid of her getting raped. I'm afraid of her getting taken advantage of in places that she shouldn't. And so jujitsu is a contact sport. And if you're not comfortable with somebody touching you, then when it happens, you freeze like a deer in headlights. If you're not used to grappling with somebody, going to take down, or if it's icky for somebody that's sweaty to get on you, then what's going to happen when somebody grabs you?
Yeah,
you're
that's
going
a
to
good point.
freeze. Yeah, you're going to freeze. And it's natural because it's not something that is natural in life, right? So you have to be comfortable in uncomfortable situations when you're grappling. Those are all uncomfortable situations. The guard alone is somebody in between your legs. And in most scenarios, when somebody is trying to take advantage of you, that's where they go, and so just as a mother alone, I think that even if it's not talked about, if you put your kid in jiu-jitsu and they're put in those positions, it's automatically going to be muscle memory to know how to even just get up and get out and get away.
Yeah. Honestly, I never thought about it in that depth, but I think you're exactly right. And your daughter, you had your first child in 2011. Is that right?
Yes.
So is she 12 years old now?
She's 11.
Oh, okay. What does she think about her mom? I mean, she must think you're so cool. See, this is what I think. And then, of course, we all have kids and they're like, it's just mom, right? But how does she see all of this? This must be very cool for her.
I think, now she's at the age where she's kind of seeing things in a different light. She's been around, the fight game for so long that it's kind of just been like, that's what mommy does. But now that she's getting older and she kind of has a different perspective on things and she's socializing, she is like, man, you're cool. Like, you're a cool mom,
Oh, I love it. You made it. You've really ultimately made it. If your kid at like 11, 12, 13 still thinks you're cool, Michelle, because my kids, of course, they're little, they're 3 and 5. And they're like, Mom, we love you so much. You're the greatest in the world. You're our best friend. And I'm always like, God, one day they're going to be like, don't hang out with us. Like, you're a loser, Mom. Like, we don't want you around. Well, like you've bridged that gap here with your UFC career. So did you put your daughter in anything of this nature?
Yeah. Well, on that note, Laura, like I told my daughter, like I embarrass her all the time. And I tell her, like, the more you push away, the more I'm going to embarrass you. So just get used to it. Like, don't
just embrace it.
Yeah, just embrace it. Like, it is what it is.
Wow. But
yes, my daughter, she is in jiu-jitsu. She trains at the school that we're at. And it's not something that she really, like I said, I'm putting her in it because she needs it, But what she does gravitate towards is she's actually a competitive gymnast. And so,
I love it.
So she does both.
Fun.
And I do kind of have to force her a little bit to go to jiu-jitsu, but once she's there, she loves it. And
but I feel like this is everything. This is my standard Tuesdays and Thursdays. I take my kids to jiu-jitsu after school, right? And it's funny because some days they're ready to go. Everybody's good. They get their gear on and we're out the door. Other days they're like, oh, we don't want to go. But this is like that's kids. Yes. But I think you're right. What's funny is with jiu-jitsu and what I've seen, I love that we're doing a whole show on this now. We're really selling people on Brazilian jiu-jitsu, but it's true. I had so many people tell me, I was like, I need to look into this for my kids. And yes, they're little, but what they've learned there, the discipline aspect of it, I think you mentioned so important and huge because, gosh, kids these days have almost no discipline or respect for anything or anyone. They're just like, these kids, it's a free for all. They do whatever they want. But on top of that, I see the way that they operate and the way they teach these young kids. sometimes it's frustrating. Sometimes my son gets upset because he didn't win. He didn't take anybody down in the way he wanted to that day. But then it's the next time we go and he actually does it and he utilizes what they've taught him. He is so proud of himself and he's ready to get back out there and do more. And it's such a good confidence builder as well for kids, not to mention they don't even realize, like you said, that they're learning to protect themselves. God forbid they ever find themselves in a horrible situation and the situation that would be a nightmare for any parent. So it makes me feel good then. I feel like this is the right thing. And yeah, they do other things. They play soccer. My daughter wants to do gymnastics and cheerleading because her mom did those things too. And that's great. But I'm gonna kind of probably force them. They're probably gonna get cranky with me, like your daughter does, because I'm gonna be like, no, we're continuing jujitsu because I think it's important. And what's better than making sure that your kids can protect themselves if they ever find themselves in one of those situations. So thank you, Michelle, for confirming that I am indeed down the right path, at least as it relates to jujitsu. Everything else is a real crapshoot, but that we know for sure we're doing right. I want everybody to stay right there. We're going to take a 90-second commercial break. We'll see you on the other side. My name is Lara Trump, and I think Mike Lindell is a patriot. He is someone who loves this country, is willing to fight for this country. If you go to mypillow.com today and use promo code Trump, again, promo code Trump, you will not only save money, but you will help us continue this show and other shows like it and help us continue the fight for the future of America. If you're listening right now and you want to get these products, go to organicbodyessentials.com, use promo code Trump, save yourself a little bit of money and do something great for your skin. One way to protect your money is by investing in precious metals, gold and silver. That's always been a great way to make sure that you keep your money and you keep it safe. When you go to bh-pm.com, use promo code Trump. That way, if you decide you want to invest in gold and silver, you'll save yourself a little bit of money. If you want to get yourself some Kingdom Fuel protein powder as well, go to sherwood.tv. You can use promo code Trump when you check out for a little bit of savings, and you're going to get a delicious, great protein powder to fuel you through your day. So, Michelle, your husband served in the military and is a former amateur boxing champion. We just talked about your daughter in jiu-jitsu. Do we ever think she would follow in her parents' footsteps? Now, I mean, you guys, she's got a great genetic makeup here for this. Does she have any interest, though, in ever, pursuing what you're doing?
I don't know. Because like I said, I see the fire in her when she starts rolling and, somebody's kind of getting the better of her. I see the fire in her, but I don't see the desire for her to want to compete just yet. And that's okay. Whatever it is that she is passionate about is what we are going to get behind her on.
Well, and that's what every parent, should do. You can't force your kids to love something and they should be pursuing what they love. But we'll stay tuned because, you never know. Like you said, one day she could wake up and be like, this is it. This is what I want to do. Now, as far as you're concerned, you lost your last fight by decision. I know there was a lot of controversy over that. It seems like a lot of people believe that the judges maybe made the wrong call. But regardless, how are you feeling and what is next for you in terms of in the octagon? What are we going to see?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a hard pill to swallow. But honestly, meeting President Trump kind of, and actually I was listening to his interview with Tucker and the whole situation that he's been in. This last couple of weeks kind of brought a lot of peace to me in what he said, because he said that the day that they brought him in, he was very sad. It was sad. It was a sad day, but he said it was also very beautiful. And so that's kind of how life is, right? Like sometimes you're met with situations, and it's just crazy how you can have the opposing emotions all smushed together. It's kind of like two sides to a coin, and it's kind of like it's almost necessary to have both of those. Like I was on this incredible high, had a great performance, and I didn't get the decision that I thought was gonna come out of it. But at the end of the day, I had so much support and this outpouring of love from friends, family, fans from all around the world. And it let me know that I was going in the right path. And so, I kind of, chalked it up to that, everything happens for a reason, and that I'm going to not dwell in the sadness of it. And I'm going to push forward, and I'm going to use the energy that everybody else has given me, the positive, beautiful energy. And I'm going to go out there and kick some butt the next time.
And as you should. I mean, that's the way to look at it. And you know what? Sometimes I say this a lot, but sometimes I don't want to say it's a failure, but my losses, my failures, my setbacks sometimes have been, when I look back on them, and maybe it's years down the road even, the biggest learning lessons for me. And maybe it's to prepare me for something. You never know, but everything in life, I agree with you. It's all there's a reason for all of it, and you can find the silver lining in anything. So what a good attitude to have. So we'll see you back in there soon. You're not stopping anytime soon. We've had fighters like Colby Covington, Tito Ortiz, Frankie Edgar. I said Frank Mir has joined us before earlier. You're the first, Michelle, female fighter we've ever had. So I just want to get a perspective from you. How do you think the men's fights differ from the women's? Because obviously, from just a spectator perspective, it all looks tough. But are there any major differences?
Well, what I love about the UFC is that if you perform, they put you on the show, So like as far as equality and all that stuff, Dana and the UFC, they don't look at me as a female fighter. They don't give me any different treatment. If I show up and I perform, then they put me on the card. And I love that they treat me not as a female fighter, but just as a fighter.
Love it.
And so I love that. And of course there are differences. Like, I'm not going to lie. So when you fight, you have to hit a certain weight. And, females carry weight different than males carry weight. And we hold on to weight because we're meant to, we're meant to hold on to our body fat because we're meant to nurture our children. And so we have periods. And when you have periods, your weight fluctuates. You're emotional. And so
thank you for telling the men out there. You guys have no idea. Oh my gosh, right? We're really breaking new ground here today, Michelle. That's true though. And I never thought of that as it relates to your sport, but gosh, yeah, that's a whole part of it.
Yeah. And then also on top of it, just being a mother, obviously, there are males that are amazing fathers in the sport. But I just think as a mother, you have a different role in the lives of your children. And so for me anyways, it weighs on me when I'm in camp because being a fighter is very selfish. You have to be selfish. You have to train. You have to dedicate time to nutrition. You have to focus. You kind of have to block other things out. So you get this, you get into your tunnel vision. And sometimes when you do that, other things fall off, And so it's a hard balance for me to understand. And the beautiful thing about it is my husband is so supportive and he picks up the pieces when I drop him. And my daughter has been a part of, my career since she's been born, that they kind of, they're in my corner and they know the drill and they're part of the team. So they kind of know, when mom's hangry or when mom, can't, sing you goodnight or be with you on your gymnastics tournament because I'm training, and they know that. And so it's not just a sacrifice for me, but it's a sacrifice for the whole family.
Wow. Yeah, it's true. I mean, as a mom myself, I think, in anything I do, you mentioned I am a triathlete. Sometimes, I'm in the middle of a swim somewhere and I'm like, you know what? This could be kind of dangerous. Like the waves are big or whatever is going on. And all I think about are my kids. And I'm like, you never stop thinking about your kids. I'm sure even when you're there in the middle of a fight, like you're probably thinking about your daughter, and it never leaves us. Did it impact you in a different way than you anticipated once you had your daughter? Was there ever any space where you're like, I shouldn't be fighting anymore? Or were you sure you were going to go back?
I think that when I was pregnant, there was a lot of unknowns and a lot of questions because I never been a mom. I didn't know what it was to be a mom. I didn't know if I was even going to have the desire to want to fight. But after I had her, I almost felt like if I was going to continue to fight, I couldn't just be mediocre in it. I had to reach for the stars. And I know you talk about always thinking about your children, and I think that's the hard part because it is a dangerous sport, and
Yeah.
My daughter is getting older, and it's funny because like we were talking about earlier, she's been around it since she was a baby, so it was like normal to her, but now that she sees it, she's kind of aware of how dangerous it is, and I do think that it scares her a bit. But I also think it's important to continue to go after your dreams and your goals as a parent because our children learn more from our actions than our words.
Yeah, so true. I love it. Well, I mean, whatever your daughter does, she's going to have some fire behind her because obviously both of her parents, you guys have proven to be just that. So I think you're such a great example, Michelle, for, I mean, truly all people out there, but especially for young women. And I love, oh my God, is that a dog?
Yes, my Great Dane.
You have a Great Dane. Oh, we're very pro dog here at the Right View. I love it. Oh my God, look at that pup. Hi. And what's her name? What are we doing here?
This is Douglas.
Oh my gosh, what a great name. I love human names for animals. I have Ben and Charlie. And so that's yeah, I understand. Oh my gosh, Douglas. What a cutie. All right. Well, we love that he made an appearance. Thank you for joining us, Douglas. So cute. But Michelle, you're just so cool and awesome. And I love that you speak your mind and you're not afraid to say what you think. You're not afraid to go out and fight. You're not afraid to be a great example for your daughter and for so many young women out there. I love what you're doing, and please never stop because you inspire a lot of us. And thank you for joining us here on The Right View. Do you have any fights coming up? Do you have anything we should know about?
I don't have anything coming up, but I'm still training.
Okay.
I actually have a really cool movie that I filmed in Wales. That should be coming out this winter. It's a Netflix film and directed by Gareth Evans, who's an amazing action director, and it is starring Tom Hardy. It's going to be a great movie, so I'm excited for that to come out.
You're in it? What do you do? Are you like an actress in it?
Yeah, I'm a really I don't know how much I can really give away, but
okay, don't give us too much. We just planted the seed for a lot of people. So exciting. So it'll be on Netflix over the winter. We'll stay tuned for that. Let us know when we'll bring you back, and then we'll talk about the movie. That sounds super fun, and we'll see what else you got going on. But obviously no lack of things. We got dogs, we got kids, we got fights, we got movies. Michelle, you're all over the place and I love it. And thank you so much for joining us here on The Right View. We'll see you back here next time, Michelle. And to everybody at home, as always, make sure you like, subscribe, share so we can keep this show going. And we'll see you back here next time for more of The Right View as well. At The Right View, we're very proud of the fact that we are independent. We get to say everything that we think and everything that we feel. We have no woke companies guiding us or telling us what we can and cannot say. We are always going to shoot you straight and give you the facts as we know them. And that's why it's important to support independent outlets like The Right View. My name is Lara Trump, and I think Mike Lindell is a patriot. He is someone who loves this country, is willing to fight for this country. I love MyPillow because not only are MyPillows made in the USA by American workers, but they're great products, and they're so great that not only do I use them in my own bed at night, my children actually requested. My daughter the other day went to the closet and pulled out a MyPillow and said, "This is the pillow that I want to sleep with." And I gotta tell you, she loves it and will have nothing to do with any other pillow. So it's a big hit around our house. My dogs also happen to sleep on MyPillow dog beds. So all around the Trump household, we're big fans. If you go to mypillow.com today, and use promo code Trump. Again, promo code Trump. You will not only save money, but you will help us continue this show and other shows like it and help us continue the fight for the future of America. Inflation has impacted all of our lives. I don't think anyone can go to the gas pump or the grocery store without noticing that it is a major factor. And unfortunately, it's not going anywhere. It doesn't seem like it's going down in the way that we would like it to. And one way to protect your money is by investing in precious metals, gold and silver. That's always been a great way to make sure that you keep your money and you keep it safe. When you go to bh-pm.com, use promo code Trump. That way, if you decide you want to invest in gold and silver, you'll save yourself a little bit of money. We live in a time that's very interesting. A lot of us out there feel like a lot of our rights are slipping away. And if you're like I am and you want to have the right to choose whether or not to have a vaccine, how to live your life freely, and you're looking for a great doctor, I've heard amazing things about Dr. Sherwood. He's somebody who you should really check out and check into, and it'll help support this program and keep us going. So go to Sherwood.tv and use promo code Trump. Again, Sherwood.tv and use promo code Trump. You can save yourself some money and help us keep our program going.
Ladies and gentlemen, this just in. We'll keep this a little secret between you and me and them and everybody. Whoa. The people that are actually at the tip of the spear, working directly with President Trump on a day-to-day basis to save this nation, they're all joining us on the Reawaken America tour. We have President Donald J. Trump's Chief of Staff, Kash Patel. We've got Peter Navarro's joined us on the tour. We have General Michael Flynn. We have Eric Trump. The people actually working at the tip of the spear with President Donald J. Trump to save America are joining us on the Reawaken America tour. Whoa. If word of this gets out, if the truth about election fraud, medical fraud, religious fraud, monetary fraud, and mainstream media gets out, it may just save the nation.
The Reawaken tour's coming to our place, hallelujah. It's gonna be lit. It's gonna be lit. Yeah, it's gonna be lit. Wide slam open.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, on May 12th and 13th, the Reawaken America Tour is coming to Miami, Florida, and to the beautiful Trump Doral Resort and Golf Course. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, the Reawaken America Tour is coming to Miami, Florida on May 12th and 13th. Get your sunscreen ready because General Flynn, Mike Lindell, Amanda Grace, Julie Green, Pastor Dave Scarlett, Dr. Judy Mikovits, Kash Patel, and Team America are taking the Reawaken America Tour to Trump Doral on May 12th and 13th. And then we're taking the God-fearing revival starting Reawaken America Tour into Sin City. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are taking the God-fearing Reawaken America Tour to Las Vegas, Nevada on August 25th and 26th. General Flynn and Team America will be taking the Reawaken America Tour to Las Vegas, Nevada. And the Patriots will be staying together at Trump International Hotel, Las Vegas, located at 2000 Fashion Show Drive, Las Vegas, Nevada, with zip code 89109 if you want to send them a letter. And yes, Alex Jones will be live and in person at the Reawaken America Tour, Las Vegas, Nevada. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, put it on your calendar. Get those tickets right now. August 25th and 26th. Eric Trump, Dr. Peter McCullough, Mel K, Dr. Stella Emanuel, Owen Schroyer, Alex Jones, Seth Holhouse, Pastor Mark Burns, Pastor Leon Benjamin. We're all taking the Reawaken America Tour to Las Vegas, Nevada, ladies and gentlemen. Las Vegas, Nevada. And that's going to be August 25th and 26th. Thus far on the Reawaken America Tour, we've featured Dr. Dave Martin, the late, great Dr. Vladimir Zelenko, Charlie Kirk, Donna Clement Petruska, Sean Foyt, Karen Kingston, Chad Prather, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Dr. Alan Keyes, Mickey Willis, Roger Stone, Dr. Richard Bartlett, and hundreds of patriotic speakers that you know, including Del Bigtree, Thomas Renz, Sidney Powell, Jim Caviezel, Donald J. Trump Jr., Peter Navarro, Klaus Schwab, Yuval Noah Harari, Bill Gates, and the godless globalists have their annual meeting called the World Economic Forum at Davos. But we that reject the Great Reset have the Reawaken America Tour coming to Miami, Florida, and coming to Las Vegas, Nevada. Get those tickets at time2freeamerica.com. That's time2freeamerica.com. We have scholarship pricing to make these events affordable for everybody. Every Reawaken America Tour event has sold out, so request those tickets today at time2freeamerica.com. That's time2freeamerica.com. Or for faster service, you can send me a personal text to 918-851-0102. That's 918-851-0102. And to be bilingually sensitive, that's 918 85-JUAN-0102.
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by go. You know the thing.
We will shut you down. We will cite you, and if we need to, we will arrest you, and we will take you to jail. Period.
I wasn't thinking of the Bill of Rights when we did this.
But no amendment to the Constitution is absolute.
God actually spoke to me. He spoke about sacredness. He said to me, Kim, what I place in many, many people is sacred. And if anybody touches what is sacred to me, then it is the end for them. So what I've done in the United States of America is sacred. And there are people on every side that are trying to destroy what I deem sacred. And it's not going to happen.
This is the definition of criminal conspiracy, racketeering, and collusion. This is not a theory. This is evidence.
Because I have upheld this country to spread a light to the rest of the world. When you choose to go against the sacred thing that God puts into the very heart and the soil of this nation, this was sacred to God.
Now the time can act.
This is exactly why I need some action from my people. Hello, everybody. It's an honor to be with you.